Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Safe Living Today podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Carter, and I am so glad you have chosen to join us and join the Safe Living Today show family. In episode 1, we talked about how to use the free online crime tracking service called Crime Reports. We talked about why it's important to track crime in your community, how to share that information with neighbors, and how to forge a crime-fighting partnership with your local police. If you haven't listened to episode 1, I encourage you to go to our website, www.safelivingtoday.com, and click on the podcast listing link. You'll see the link to listen, download, or subscribe to our show on the homepage of safelivingtoday.com. In this episode, you'll discover what makes a residence attractive to a criminal, what exactly does a criminal look for when he or she is deciding if your residence is an easy target. You'll learn the simple steps that can protect your residence from break-ins. We'll talk about how an inspirational Facebook post resulted in a home invasion and, sadly, a murder, and what you should never post on social media and why. In the Safe Living Today health news you can use, you'll learn about the one thing that can cut down the risk of deadly melanoma cancer and cut that risk nearly in half for children and teens and reduce the risk of skin cancer for everyone. Let's begin by taking a look at your home or apartment from a criminal's point of view. Walk out to the curb or otherwise walk far enough away to allow you to see the entire front of your residence. Next, walk around each side of your residence and then walk to the back. Notice if you have overgrown shrubbery around your windows or doors. Overgrown shrubbery makes it easy for a burglar to hide. If so, cut that shrubbery way down until there is a clear and unobstructed view from the street or the parking area, and from the sides, and from the back. Next, assess your outside lights. Are your outside lights working? Go outside after dark and really pay attention to the level of illumination. If any bulbs are burned out, replace them. If a light isn't working because of corrosion or other problems, replace the lighting fixture or otherwise repair the existing fixture. Make sure all outside lights work. Are the outside lights bright enough where a person can be easily seen from the street or the parking area from your neighbors' residences? If the lighting is dim, install brighter bulbs. Do you leave your lights on overnight? I recommend that you do so. You can purchase an inexpensive dusk-to-dawn light control sensor that automatically turns outside lights on when it's dark and it turns them off at dawn. I also recommend installing an outside light with a sensor that activates that light when the sensor detects motion. There are some good sensor-activated, battery-powered LED illuminated lights that cost between $15 and $25. These lights don't require electrical connections, and they're very, very effective. Check the lighting section of your local hardware store to see these light units displayed. At a minimum, lights should illuminate the front and back of your residence. If you live in a detached home, I suggest having and using lights on all sides of your residence. If you live in an apartment with an inside entrance, make sure the outside entrance and the hallway are well lit. Sliding glass doors. Sliding glass doors and many windows can usually be secured by installing what's called a Charlie bar. Check your local hardware store or Google the term Charlie bar to see examples of these locking devices and how they work. A simple way to help secure a sliding glass door is to cut a dowel or 1 inch by 1 inch piece of wood to nearly the width of the track when the door is closed. Drop that brace into the track, and that will help keep your door secure. You'll want to make sure that there is a 1/2 inch or so gap so you can remove the brace when you want to open that sliding glass door. There are other methods to secure sliding glass doors and windows. I suggest you talk to a knowledgeable hardware store employee, a locksmith, or a trained crime prevention police officer about your particular situation. Your locks. How about your locks? Make sure you have deadbolt locks installed and you keep those locks engaged even when you're home and certainly when you're away. One question I'm asked is whether I recommend double key deadbolt locks. These locks require a key to lock and unlock the deadbolt from the inside and from the outside. The problem with double key locks relates to fire safety. Trying to find keys to unlock a door when attempting to escape from a fire with thick and choking smoke can be nearly impossible. When escaping a burning residence, every second counts. So, what's the solution if you have a door with a large area of glass or a glass section that, if it's broken, could allow someone to reach through and unlock the door? I suggest installing a second inside the resident's hand-activated deadbolt lock below the area that can be reached if the glass is broken. You may also be able to install a decorative metal grill to protect that glass. There are other solutions for securing a door with glass. Talk to a knowledgeable hardware store employee, a locksmith, or a trained crime prevention police officer for recommendations that will work with your particular situation. Recall in episode 1, we talked about how to schedule a police inspection of your residence. Let's return to your self-inspection of locks. Are all of those locks working properly? If they're not working properly with near frictionless locking and unlocking, try spraying WD-40 oil into the area where you insert your key. Look for a WD-40 can at the hardware store that comes with a plastic extension tube, and this tube looks a lot like a small straw. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what it is. One end fits into the spray nozzle of the can, and you insert the other end of that extension tube into the keyway and give it 2 or 3 sprays. After spraying, insert and remove your key several times, and then insert the key into that keyway and lock and unlock to the right, to the left. And as you're doing that, you're working the oil into the operating parts of the lock. Unless there is a broken pin or there's some other mechanical problem, you'll have a smooth working lock after less than a minute's worth of work. How about dealing with people who are knocking on your door? Ensure you have a peephole or an outside entrance door video camera system, such as the one that's available from Ring. These video systems will allow you to communicate with someone outside without opening the door. Ring and similar systems let you talk with someone on your doorstep through your smartphone, even if you're not home. If you're using a peephole only, or you do have an outside video camera, look carefully to ensure you know who is there before you open that door. Speaking of opening the door, never open your door to talk with someone you do not know. A sad example of what can happen when you ignore this precaution is the case of Makeva Jenkins in Lake Worth, Florida. According to a story in the Palm Beach Post, Makeva posted a message on her Facebook page about how she went from being homeless in 2014 to making a multiple 6-figure income today. She meant for her story to be inspirational and to help other people. And indeed it was inspirational. It apparently inspired someone to knock on Makeva's door at 2 a.m., just a few hours after Makeva's Facebook post. Sadly, Makeva was shot and killed during an altercation right in her home, according to the Palm Beach Police Department. This unfortunate case highlights two important safety lessons. First, be aware that what you post on your social media sites is available to virtually anyone to see, to read. Please don't post about acquiring expensive items, making money, or being on vacation. Be careful about what items show in the background of your photographs. These kinds of posts are invitations to criminals that say you have money, you have expensive items worth stealing, or you're not at home. Keep your financial and travel information off of social media. If you must post about a vacation, wait until you're back home and make it clear in that post the vacation is over and you are now safe and sound back home. Violent home invasions are a growing problem across the United States and indeed in other countries as well. Criminals use all kinds of tricks to get you to open that door. They'll send a child, for example, to knock on your door with a sad story about being lost. A man or a woman wearing a yellow work vest may knock on the door claiming they're from the gas or electric company. Someone may knock on the door claiming their car is broken down and they need to call for help. There is no end to the creative stories these criminals use to get you to open your door. If someone claims to need help, or they claim to be from a utility or a repair company, or even from the police department, keep your door closed and keep it locked. Go to the door with your phone in hand. Talk through the door. Tell them you are calling police to have an officer come to your residence before you open the door. Keep the door closed and locked with your foot wedged against the door as you call police. Never open the door to someone you do not know, period. In future episodes, you'll learn about the latest electronic locks, security video systems, alarms, and other home and personal protection technology. While these technology-based systems can be helpful, it's imperative that you pay attention to the physical security basics you've learned about in this episode. So let's recap. You've discovered how to look at your residence through the eyes of a criminal, how to create unobstructed sightlines from the street and from the homes of your neighbors, how to use protective lighting, what kinds of door locks are needed, how to ensure your locks are in working order, what never to post on social media, and how to handle strangers at your door. Let's now transition to the Safety News You Can Use segment. According to some authorities, a few minutes of morning sun may be beneficial to help build vitamin D levels, but being out in the late morning to late afternoon sun with no strong sunscreen protection, a hat, sunglasses, and proper clothing can be a recipe for serious sunburn and worse. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, just one blistering burn as a child or teen nearly doubles the risk of getting a vicious form of cancer called melanoma. Please protect your family members and yourself. Do consult your doctor for medical guidance on sun exposure and check the Center for Disease Control and Prevention website at www.cdc.gov for sun protection guidance. In our next episode, you'll discover how to identify the names, see the photographs, learn the addresses, the work locations of convicted sex offenders who live or work in your community. Knowing this information can help ensure you and your loved ones can keep your distance and stay safe. If you have a question about any topic we've covered in today's episode, or you have suggestions for a Safe Living Today topic, please email me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at safelivingtoday@gmail.com. If you know someone who can benefit from the information you've learned in this podcast, let them know that the show is available on our website at safelivingtoday.com. If you have an iPhone, you'll find a one-click link on the website to subscribe to the show through iTunes, or you can simply search your favorite podcast application for the Safe Living Today podcast show. The show and more Safe Living Today resources are always available on my website, safelivingtoday.com. Until we get together again for our next episode, this is your host, Stephen Carter at safelivingtoday.com, asking you to please stay safe, stay well, and stay blessed.